It all started when I was 6 years old. While I was playing outside on my farm in California, I met a boy. He was an average kind of boy who teased you and then you chased them and beat them up. After that first meeting in which I beat him up, we kept on meeting and beating each other up at the fence. That only lasted for a little while, though. We would meet at the fence all the time, and we were always together. I would tell him all my secrets. He was quite very quiet. He would just listen to what I had to say. I found him easy to talk to, and I could talk to him about everything. In school, we had separate friends, but when we got home, we would always talk about what happened in school. One day I said to him that a guy I liked hurt me and broke my heart. He just comforted me and said everything would be all. He gave me words of encouragement and helped me get over him. I was happy and thought of him as a real friend, but I knew that there was something else about him that I liked. I thought of it that night and figured it was just a friend kind of thing that I was feeling. All through high school and even through graduation, we're always together, and of course, I thought of it as being friends. But I knew deep inside that I really felt differently. On graduation night, even though we had different dates to the prom, I wanted to be with him. That night, after everybody went home, I went to his house and wanted to tell him that I wanted to see him. Well, that night was my big chance, and all I did was just sit there with him watching the stars and talking about what I was going to do and what he was going to do. I looked into his eyes and listened to him talk about what his dream was, how he wanted to get married and settle down. He said how he wanted to be rich and successful. All I could do was to tell him my dream and cuddle next to him. I went home hurting because I didn't tell him how I was feeling. I wanted to tell him so bad that I loved him, but I was too scared and frightened. I let my feelings go and told myself that someday I would tell him just how I felt. All through college, I wanted to tell him, but he always had someone with him. After graduation, he got a job in New York. I was happy for him, but at the same time, I was sad to see him go. I was sad also because I didn't tell him how I felt, but I couldn't let him know now that he was leaving for his big job. So I just kept it to myself and watched him go on the plane. I cried as I hugged him for what I felt was going to be the last time. I went home that night and cried my eyes out. I felt hurt that I didn't tell him what I had inside my heart. Well, I got what I had inside my heart. Well, I got a job as a secretary and then worked my way to a computer analyst. I was proud of what I had accomplished. One day I got a letter with an invitation to a marriage. It was from him. I was happy and sad at the same time. Now I know that I could never be with him and that we could only be friends. I went to the wedding the next month.